I totally forgot to have the intro ready. Hang on. Heyo. I feel like I haven't done this in like 6 months. Like, I'm so rusty and I apologize. Um, actually, I have a few apologies to get out of the way, so I'm going to get those out of the way now. Um, one is that I apologize. I must have ate something that I was allergic to, or I'm like just super stressed or something, but my face completely broke out in hives the other day, and it's not. I mean, I know it's teeny tiny little screen, but still. Looks like we're already having errors. Okay. Well, I guess I will just put this up on the bottom so you guys can see it. Um, I do appreciate you guys so much for sticking with me, and I'm sorry that I haven't been here for a few weeks. I was very sick for a while, and it took me longer than I thought to recover. Not sure, it might have been COVID, but that's a whole nother thing. Um, but I actually had talked to Wolliver about doing a recorded show so that I could have it ready to go in case, I have to work or I'm sick or doing something with the kids or whatever it is. Because I hate that I am not always able to, be at home at 8 o'clock. I have a crazy job that has a crazy schedule and I never know what it's going to be. Um, I'm not complaining at all. I love my job, but I'm just saying I wanted to do um, a show that I like record and have ready to go for those kind of nights. And so I made on my little ghosty notebook, um, I made a list of things that I wanted to talk to you about. And they're pretty good things. I wanted to make sure that they were good topics that, would make it worth it for you guys to watch when you can't like interact. Um, so I I actually am going to do those tonight because to be honest, I feel like everyone I know is very much so on edge right now. Everyone's very uh scared or anxious for better words, for lack of better words. Um I don't think that you have to be like a political science major or anything to realize that, things are getting pretty crazy and pretty scary. And that's a lot to take on. And so I just figured that I would go over some things with you guys that hopefully will help you. Um, because I know that I need to remind myself of these things pretty much every day. It's a constant daily struggle, and I 100% still struggle. Um, I know that I'm always like sharing like super inspirational stuff and positive and motivational and whatever. But a lot of times that's for me. I need to remind myself that, you know, how to relax and how to be happy and how to be grateful and all of those things. So I figure if I need a reminder, then maybe you guys do too. So that's why I am constantly sharing things on Facebook that are just uplifting. Um, because a lot of times I'm the one that needs the uplifting. So, and I've told you guys before that, if things ever get super bad and I'm like really stressed out, then I will actually forego my news feed on Facebook and just go to my own page. And that's the scrolling that I'll do when I have my downtime because I know that I can control my own page. I can't control all the bullshit that comes through on my newsfeed and all the hatred and all of the politics and all of that. I can't control that, but I can control what I'm looking at. So I will just go to my page and I will look at pictures of my adorable children and I will look at, posts about how amazing my husband is and I will look at all of the motivational stuff that I post on my own page and I will just pretend like it's my news feed and I will just ignore everyone else. Because sometimes you have to. And it's not anything against everyone else that's on my news feed. It's just sometimes I can't handle it. Sometimes it's too much to see, the people that I love very much being so hateful and so I don't divisive. I can't handle it. I have a really hard time, you know, with all of the different things that people fight about. Um, I have a hard time coming to grips with the fact that there's so many people that I love that would willingly just hate somebody who has a different viewpoint than them on like 8 different topics, you know? Um, so I often will choose to ignore it and just scroll my own page. So if you ever need like motivational stuff about being grateful or how to be happy or how to reduce anxiety, just go to my page because you're not going to find anything political there. There's not going to be hatred there. There's not going to be, you know, um, degrading people and telling them that their opinions don't matter and that their opinions are stupid and that their opinions don't, make it so that they don't deserve to live and, you know, the normal stuff that you see on Facebook. You won't see any of that. And it's not just Facebook. I'm just using Facebook as an example, but anyways, um so I wanted to touch on something that my cousin Monica, I'm going to call you out. She posted this meme on Facebook and it was meant to be funny, about how like if I would have known adulthood was gonna be like this, I wouldn't have signed up. This is not what it's supposed to be or whatever. And it was just meant to be funny, and there was a ton of people commenting like, "Yeah, girl, whatever." They were all agreeing with it. And it was one of those times where I, like, typed out this whole big, long, response to it, and then I reminded myself, as I often remind other people, that no person's opinion on something changes because a random stranger typed out a novel in a Facebook comment. So I typed it all out to make myself feel better, and then I deleted it. Um, Especially because it wasn't meant to be like mean or anything, but I just didn't like the context of it. Um, I don't think that there's any way that life is supposed to be. I hate those words like supposed to be. It's not supposed to be anything. You're not supposed to be married by a certain age or even supposed to be married. Um, there's not a timeline on when you have to buy a house or when you have to go to school or if you have to go to school or whatever. I feel like we've just been brainwashed, for lack of better terms, into thinking that there's like this magic formula for how life is supposed to be. Um, Life is supposed to be whatever whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. We don't have things that we have to do or are supposed to do. Um, you don't ever have to go to college, despite what your high school counselor will tell you. If that's not what's going to make you happy and what's best for you, then you don't have to do that. And so when you're graduating from high school and you're seeing all of your friends at college and you're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be going to school." No, you're not. Um, if that's not the path that you're on, then that's not the path you're on. There's no like there's there's no like what is the word? Blueprint um for what you have to do or what life is supposed to be like. Like, yeah, obviously everybody would like to have, I mean, maybe everybody doesn't want, but everybody would like to have $1 million in their bank account by the time they're 30 and, um, live in their perfect house or whatever. But your idea of a perfect life is not how things are supposed to be. The life that you're living, you have to turn it into a perfect life. And you have to recognize the amazing parts of your life because I know that it sounds crazy, but when you are grateful, when you see the beauty in the things that you have and you're so thankful for them, and it doesn't matter how big or small they are, um, when you shift your focus to gratitude, I cannot begin to tell you how much your life will change. And okay, disclaimer, when I talk about my universe, you could fill in the blank with whatever that means to you. Um, I believe that there's something, a higher power, and I call it my universe. Some people call it God, some people call it the gods, some people call it, whatever. When you have gratitude and when you have faith, and I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about the faith that you know that things are happening the way that they're supposed to and that you're where you're meant to be. Um, the universe, God, whatever, will start to give you more reasons to be grateful. Um, when my kids were younger, um, one of my aunts told me that she loves giving my kids presents because they were always so thankful. And it didn't matter how small of a present. You could give them literally like a $5 uh Dollar Tree gift card and they would be so grateful. They would be like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And the universe is kind of like that. If you stop focusing on all of the things that you don't have and you start being grateful for the things that you do have, I challenge you to do this because you cannot imagine how much your life will change. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes. Scott McCafferty always comes in with the perfect comments. Um, but you have to stop looking other places for happiness. You have to stop looking for other places. Um, you are the one who is going to create your happiness. Nobody else. Nobody, no spouse, no significant other, no boss, nothing. No one is going to create happiness for you. That's something only you can do. And once you decide that you are going to be grateful for the things that you have and recognize how lucky you are to have those things. I talk about it all the time. People have such a warped and I do too. I'm not saying it's just other people. We get caught up in things and we focus on the bad things like, "Oh my gosh, I have a flat tire and now I'm late to work." Okay, you have a car. Do you know how many people in the world don't have a car? Do you know how many people in America don't have a car? I'm not even talking about like third world countries. And you have a job. You're able to walk to your car and get in the car and drive and you're physically and mentally able to hold a job and to provide for yourself, and that's something a lot of people can't do. So we focus so much on that and we forget to recognize all of the amazing things that we have. And people have a bad day at work, and instead of coming home and being thankful that they're not at work anymore, they're with their family, you know everything is everything is beautiful. At home, they forget that and they let their bad mood come home with them. And then they're just having a bad day and then they're yelling at their kids or their significant other or whatever because they forgot to recognize all of the amazing things in their life. So start with the gratitude and be thankful for what you have. And the other thing that took me forever to learn is that you have to decide that you deserve happiness. I know it sounds crazy because everyone will say, of course, I want to be happy. No, no, no. I understand that you want to be happy, but you need to understand that you deserve happiness. That's two totally different things. And when you decide that you deserve to be happy, then the universe will be like, okay, you're right. And it will start to give you more things that will make you happy. And it's not because somebody else did something for you. You did that for you. And you decided, I deserve to be happy and I'm not going to settle for anything that doesn't make me happy. There's another step. Um, Stop doing things that are not contributing to your happiness. Hey, Eddie Pence. Scott's giving you guys a resource they use at work for gratitude journals. I'm definitely going to check that out. Is it appropriate for kids too? My kids are getting a little on the entitled side. I need to get them back to where they need to be with the gratitude. But let me know if it's like, okay, he said yes. So there you go. Check out the gratitude journals. But it's so easy for us to get caught up. You know, I feel like we were taught our whole lives to worry about everyone around us and to, that if you thought about your own happiness, that was like selfish. Like, oh my God, how dare you? Um, and I'm not saying like totally ignore people and just go and blow all the money in your bank account on getting pedicures and new clothes. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But like, decide if you're not happy in your job, what can you do to change that? And change it. um, everybody's so everybody's got a victim mentality like, oh, somebody needs to give me something or somebody's got to do something. No, you do it. You do it and you can do it. Um, we have so many resources available to us. I read about I read about this guy who literally went to college without ever like signing up or paying for it. He just started going to classes. I'm not saying that you should do that, but you know, there are free online schooling things that you can do. There's grants for things if schooling is something that you want to do. Um, if not, there's a million options. There's so many things. You can call your local Department of Job and Family Services. They offer so much training. So maybe you want a promotion at work, but you have to be certified in like Microsoft Office. You could do that at the county for free. You can do it. We just have to stop waiting for somebody, stop waiting for Prince Charming or, life is not like the movies. Somebody's not going to, you're not going to have some rich uncle that you never heard of that dies and you become rich. Like you have to work on it. And you have to decide, I'm going to make myself happy and do it. Eddie Pence says exactly. Some people love to be miserable. I choose not to go down that path. Life is too short. Have fun while you can. Absolutely. Um, I say that all the time. Life's too short to be anything but happy. I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not, I still do things that I don't want to. I'm not saying I just don't do anything like, oh, I'm not going to that family function because that's not going to make me happy. I'm not saying that. But if there's something that doesn't fit the version of myself that I see in a year, I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm working on me. And that means a lot of different things. But the main thing it means is that I'm not going to focus my energy on things that do not contribute to who I want to be as a person. So there's a lot of things that got cut out, like out of my personal life, things that I don't do anymore. There's a lot of like thoughts and things like that that I don't do anymore because it's not helping. It's not. Scott says I can get you worksheets we have in our resource drive. I can send them over when I go to work tomorrow. Awesome. I find something like super therapeutic about like writing things out too. I know you can sit there and like, I don't know, just like think about things, but something about like writing it down just makes it more permanent to me. And I don't know, I think I might kind of have like a not not like Rain Man or anything, but um I retain things so much better when I write it down. It makes it more permanent to me and like my ADHD brain. Like I never studied for tests when I was younger because I would read a question and then I would remember writing it in my notebook. I don't know, like my brain actually sees me writing it in my notebook. And so I don't know, writing things out is so much better. I'm probably very alone in that. I'm sure everybody doesn't remember writing things down, but I do, and I love it. Scott says, I think people creating their own mission statements helps a lot too. Gives purpose and meaning to the life you want. Yeah, yeah. Um, I okay. So we have an award ceremony at work, and I went to the one my first year. So I had only been a real estate agent for 3 months, 2 months, 2 months. Um, so I got like one paper award. Like it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't expecting anything either. So, but I was a little tipsy, not gonna lie. And they gave out awards and they gave out the glass globe. And I pointed at my boss and I said, I'm fucking getting one of those next year. And I did, and that was my mission statement. And I met with our like we had a training guy and he said, "Okay, so what goals do you have for the year?" And I said, 2 words, glass globe. I said, "That's all I want." And he said, "There has to be more to it than that." And I said, "No, that's it. I'm going to get a glass globe." And yes, there was like other things that went along with that. I had to have 5 to 8 million or 5 to 10 million dollars in sales. I had to have whatever. But my mission statement was just to get a glass globe. And yes, that meant I needed to work really hard. I needed to work on marketing. There was a lot of things that went with it. But let me tell you, I have never been more focused on something because I had that goal. I set that goal for myself. Um, I decided that's what I was going to do, and I did it. Hey, Holly. Scott and Eddie say hello as well. Um, so yeah, if you just decide that you're going to be happy, decide that you deserve to be happy, then just do it and don't let anything stop you. I know that it sounds crazy, but it's people don't understand how powerful your mind and your mindset are. Okay, if you look at it in the reverse, right? If you are depressed, you're whatever, something happens, you're depressed. Um, does that sadness, does that big feeling not affect every aspect of your life? It does. You can't eat, you can't shower, you can't do the things that you used to love to do, whatever. So if that bad big feeling can affect every aspect of your life, then why can't a good one in the opposite way? Um, I think that when you decide that you deserve to be happy and that you're going to go for it and that you're not going to settle for anything that doesn't make you happy, you will start to see how many things don't make you happy that you're putting up with every single day. And again, I'm not saying like quit your job or leave your house because your house stresses you out or anything like that. But I'm saying like, if you have that one friend who every time you talk to them, it's just constant gossip and, it brings you down and maybe you didn't realize that it brings you down so much or that it affects you so much. And once you decide that you're going to be happy and you stop talking to that person, you will start to see how much it affects your life. Um, and little things like Holly said she was at the gym. If you decide that you want to start working out, which actually my kids and I have done, but if you decide that you want to start working out and you realize that working out makes you happy and, sitting on the couch watching TV, being lazy bum does not make you happy anymore, it's going to make a huge difference when you stop doing those things. And until you decide that you deserve to be happy, you're not even going to realize what things in your life are making you unhappy. So you deserve to be happy. Go for it. Do it. Don't settle for anything that doesn't make you happy. Um, and with that, you also have to remember that these things that you are letting control your emotions, you know, fucking Karen talking shit about you at work or, you know, things like that. If you were to think about, is this going to affect me in a year? In a year, am I going to be like, oh, this is the anniversary of Karen talking shit about me at work? No, you're not even going to remember it. Like a year from now, you're not even going to remember what she was saying, even if it seems like it's such a big deal now. Um, you have to let those things go. I mean, there's no there's no room for it. If you are deciding that you are going to be happy, there is no room for that. There is no room for letting anyone control your emotions. Nobody has that power over you except for you. And sometimes we don't even have control of our emotions. But you can't, things that are going to be insignificant in a year or 6 months or whatever are not worth your time. You are giving up so much of your happiness over a, a 15 minutes of, you know, bad. So you're going to make the entire day bad over that? That doesn't make sense. You have to stop doing that. Um, I have talked about it before on the show, but my best friend and we listen. I just was talking to this girl. We don't talk as much as we used to, but she moved away, whatever. Um, we had a very strict 5-minute rule. And whenever one of us was upset, because let me tell you, life kicked us a lot during this time, a lot. And anyways, that's a whole nother story. But um, we would set a very strict timeline for ourselves and we would literally give ourselves 5 minutes. I would call her, I would say, I need 5 minutes. I didn't have to explain why. She knew what it was for, and she would set a timer for 5 minutes. I would sit there, I would tell her all about what happened. Sometimes I would ask for advice, most of the time not. Most of the time I was just venting. Um, I would scream, I would cry, I would swear, and when her timer went off, that was it. I put on my big girl pants and that's it. When your 5 minutes is up, you are focused only on solutions. Um, if it was just you needed a vent session to talk about how much you can't stand Karen at work, then that's fine. Your 5 minutes is up. You're done with it. And it got to a point where like that actual sound of the timer would like trigger something in my brain and I would like instantly like, okay. And I would just we would start working on a solution. If it was like, oh, my electric's gonna get shut off on Friday and my account's overdrawn and I don't know how I'm gonna feed the kids, blah, blah, blah. Cry about it, swear about it, whatever. But when that 5-minute timer goes off, that's it. We're working on solutions. What can we do? What can we sell? What can we, can you donate plasma? Whatever. We would make out, how much money you could get from each thing, and we would figure out a plan because that is helpful. Sitting there and wallowing in self-pity is going to do nothing. It is going to pay none of your bills. It is going to fix none of your problems. Um, so that was what we did. And honestly, that 5-minute rule helped us so much in the years that we struggled. And it's such a silly tool. People look at me like I have two heads when I tell them this. But if you start practicing it, you will see, I swear, it helps. And especially if you get, if you have somebody that you can do that with, whether it's a sibling, one of your adult children, just a friend, whatever. But if you have somebody that you can do that with and you guys start to get in that habit, when that timer goes off, you're done. We're looking for solutions. We're not crying anymore. And it works. I promise you it works. So that is definitely something that can help you because you sitting there crying about how terrible life is and oh my gosh, I can't pay this bill and I can't do this. That's not going to help you. It's not going to help you be happy. And that's what we're doing, right? We're focusing only on our happiness. And I know that it sounds crazy. I have a little bit too much faith in my universe sometimes. I always tell the story. My husband and I, years and years and years ago, um, we our electric was gonna get shut off on Friday. And, my husband's like, "What are we gonna do?" And I'm like, "I'm not worried about it. It'll be fine." And that pisses him off, understandably. Nobody should do that. You should try to figure things out. Um, but I would be like, "It'll be fine." He's like, "What do you mean it's gonna be fine?" I'm like, "It'll be fine. I just know it'll work out. It'll be fine. We'll figure something out." He's like, "Oh, okay." And on that Wednesday, I got a check in the mail for $50 more than my electric bill was. And it was from my car insurance company for an overpayment. Like, when does that ever happen? So, say my electric bill was $700. This check was for $750. And I'm just like, see, everything's gonna be fine. Um, I have I have a little bit too much faith in my universe. I'm not saying that that's healthy at all because sometimes I probably should be working on things, but I just know that it's going to work out. Um, so just put it out there. Just put some faith out there. Whatever your faith is in, I don't care. Um, but just know that everything can and will work out. Yes, you might have to do some things, but you'll figure out how you're going to do it. And I realize that I sound like a complete crazy person. I know that that's not it doesn't make sense, scientifically, logically, anything. It doesn't make sense to just be like, it'll be fine. But I promise you it will. And he says, preach it, D. um, Eddie, you're so sweet. He said, D, your show always lifts my spirits. I could have been miserable these past couple days, aka Dad's birthday. And I put Gemma down a year ago. Being mentally strong is such a challenge, but worth it in the long run. Absolutely. People, first of all, I'm sorry about Gemma and Dad. Gosh, It's a terrible week. Um, but it is so true. Eddie, people think, oh, it must be nice to just walk around happy all the time or walk around optimistic all the time. It's not. It's not. And I'm not sitting here like in some delusion. Like, I understand the world's shitty. I understand that there's a lot going on. I understand that everything is not perfect. I'm just choosing not to focus on that. And that's a huge difference. Like, walking around being grateful for your life, being if I'm grateful for my house and my family, that doesn't mean that I don't understand that there are people who are homeless or whatever, but you can't just walk around miserable all the time. Um, it's just no way to live. I can't even imagine living like that. I get it. I get in funks. You know, I have bad moods. I probably more than I like to admit. I do have negative emotions, but there is no point in staying there, right? There's no point in staying there. The other thing is, I you know how you have like people see you're friends with somebody and then you like get in a fight with them and you're not friends with them anymore. Like, I don't hold on to that. I feel like that's a huge thing that has helped me not be so angry all the time. Um, I still what it was some rapper, some like 2000s rapper, maybe it was Tupac, I don't know, said that like, you know, I it's not that I don't wanna see you eat, I just don't want you to eat at my table. Obviously he said it more eloquently than I did, but I just don't. I don't play into it. I don't play into the negative emotions and the, hating people. I don't have it. I don't have room for it in my life. Addie. Addie says if you worry about not having this or that, you're putting it out to the universe that you don't have it. Instead, thank you. Put positive out and positive comes back. Thank you. And it's like this with everything. I tell my kids all the time. Okay, here's a perfect example. Easton, my youngest, is such a picky eater. Oh my God. He's such a picky eater. He eats like 4 things, but every time that he decides he wants to try something new, like he decided he wanted to make a pumpkin pie. We couldn't just go buy one. We had to make a pumpkin pie so that he could try it. And guess what? He liked it. Um, he Anytime I make dinner and I say, you have to try this, he doesn't like it because in his brain, he's like, oh, I'm making this pumpkin pie. It's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. Guess what? It's really good. And he likes it. But when I make him try something, he's constantly going, oh, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad. And guess what? He doesn't like it. If you are constantly just putting things out there and basically telling the universe this is not good enough, then you are going to get less and less and less until you understand that you need to be grateful for the things that you have. And then when you are thankful for your 88 Dodge Reliant K car, then the universe will be like, here's an upgrade. And then is it going to be the greatest car ever? No. But should you still be thankful for it? Absolutely. And the more that you put out there, the more positivity that you put out there, the more positive will come back to you. And you could sit there. I'm going to be honest, there are people in my personal life who can't stand me because they think that I'm just lucky all the time. Like, oh, all this good stuff happens to her. Um, First of all, I don't care. People can talk shit about me all they want. Um, but they don't see all the behind the scenes stuff. I have constantly put it out there how grateful I am for every single thing that I have. And it is so there are things like other people would be like, why do you even care? I do care. I do care about every single thing and opportunity that I am given. It's pretty simple. Just do that. Holly said, I found out there is actually an eating disorder for that type of picky eating. Yeah, it describes my son to a T. Yeah, it's definitely like psychosomatic. Because I feel like, you know, he should like things. And and when he decides he's gonna try them, he always likes them. Addie said, I saw this video. When you say F my life, when something bad happens, it's usually with a lot of emotion behind it, and you're actually sending bad your way. Still trying to learn that one. Yes. Oh my God. I wish that that was never a thing. I hate that so much. That is the worst like trend to come out. First of all, just because you have a flat tire doesn't mean you, oh, fuck my whole life then. It's just a flat tire. You could say like, fuck that tire, right? But or fuck that nail that popped my tire, but to say fuck my life, oh my God, are you kidding me? You're just gonna put your whole life in that bubble of, like, no, it was just the tire. It was just that nail. It was just this one thing. And you're just like discarding your entire life over it. Um, that is one of my biggest pet peeves with the internet. I hate that saying, and I hate how freely people use it. Um, Sorry. And he said I only ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and spaghetti when he was younger. Yeah. Easton's is like ramen noodle pizza and chicken nuggets. That's it. But he'll eat salmon. The boy will eat a salmon steak or walleye, but he won't eat a hot dog or peanut butter and jelly. Oh, Holly looked it up. It's called ARFID, avoidance/restrictive food intake disorder. I'll have to look that up. Um, yeah, it's one of my favorite videos, and it's like an old one, and they replay it all the time around Christmas time. Is when the guy is at home and he wakes up in his bed and he's like completely wrapped in wrapping paper, and he wakes up and he's like, I have a home. Look at this bed. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful. And then he walks over to the light switch and he turns on the lights and he flicks them on and off and he's like, and electricity? This is amazing. And everything in his life is like wrapped in wrapping paper. And he just walks around like so excited about it. Like somebody just gave him $1 million. And that's how I feel like people should be. But people are the opposite, you know. Um, they'll walk around and like, okay, those couches over there, um, I redid them, but they're just free couches that I got from my grandma. And, a lot of people might be like, oh, I just have these shitty couches. Like, oh, so and so on Instagram has just got a brand new couch. First of all, who cares what other people are doing? Um, but to me, I look at it as those couches, I literally used to sit on those when I was a child. I love that. Are they the greatest? No. No. No, they're not. Um, but I was able to get a cover for them, and now they're mine. And now when I look at them, I don't think like, "Oh, I have shitty couches that a million people have sat on over the last 50 years." Like, I'm thankful for them. And another one that's super tough for people is learning to be thankful for experiences that happen, um, good or bad. Because if you take a step back from your wallowing in self-pity to recognize that literally everything happens for a reason, every single thing. Um, and that's another one that I I follow a little too hardcore sometimes. Um, like if I'm running late or I get stopped by a train or, there's a tractor that's like not normally ever on the road and for some reason it's blocking me and it makes me 7 minutes late. Um, I like to tell myself that had I been 7 minutes earlier, then I would have been in a car accident or something else would have happened. Um, I try to remember that everything happens for a reason. And when things are crappy and you set your timer for 5 minutes and you cry about it and then you get over it, not get over it, but you know what I mean. Stop letting it control your emotions and you step back and you look at it with rational and logical thinking. Um, I think you'll see that everything is a learning opportunity, every single thing. Um, and sometimes sometimes the learning opportunity is I make bad decisions. But sometimes you need to learn that. And another huge part of building your own happiness is being honest with who you are as a person. Um, I I just put all my shit out there for you guys. Uh, but not everybody's that open about it. And I think that if you were to look at what you do as a person to hold yourself back, because a lot of times it's us that holds ourselves back. Um, my boss has been trying to get me to become a real estate agent for no less than 10 years. Um, I met her doing our charity event. Well, it's ours now. It was hers at the time. Um, my oldest son, which I'll show you guys pictures sometime. My oldest stuffed an ambulance full of toys for Asa like 3 times. He's raised over $30,000 for her. But, so I was just Ryan's mom at that point, and I wasn't working with her or anything, and she had always told me, "You need to become an agent. You'd be really good at it. You have the personality, blah, blah, blah." And I was always like, "No, no, 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 no." And I would make excuses. "Oh, I don't have the money. I don't have the time to do it. I can't, whatever." Spoiler alert, I could have. I could have, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I guess that's it. There's no more after that. Um, I didn't want to because I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to handle school. And I was scared that I wouldn't be able to make things work because, you have to like do all of this stuff and pay all of these things and have your first clients and whatever, and you don't get any money until your first house closes. So I was scared that I wouldn't be able to make it work, because I wasn't putting my trust in the universe. I was putting it in myself, which I shouldn't do. Um, and I I don't know, I was scared for a million reasons, and I didn't want to for a million reasons, and they were all, like, my fault. Like, I could have done it, but I was lazy and cowardly, and, I had a whole list of things that were my fault, and that was, like, a huge pill to swallow. Like, "Hey, not everything is somebody else's fault." Um, Sometimes you just make bad decisions, or sometimes you're just lazy, or sometimes you're unmotivated, or whatever. Um, so it's very much so me looking at my own faults, and what I needed to work on to make it work. And I started working for my brokerage, like just in the office. And I started seeing all of the agents and what they were doing in their jobs. And, I wanted to do that, but I didn't think that I could because I was stupid. Um, but then I just decided, also COVID happened and it kind of decided for me. I really had no more excuses, but I decided that I was allowed to love my job too. And I was allowed to be financially stable too. I didn't have to struggle forever. Like, yeah, I was freaking good at it. I was good at it. I could walk into a store with $20, before. I could walk into a store with $20 and, buy enough food for 2 weeks for a family of 5. I was good at it, but I didn't have to do it forever. Um, so I just did it. So I just decided that's what I was gonna do. And that was the whole point. Look, we went back around to the beginning. Um, so let's start at the beginning too, because I know there's like people who came on later and some people from the beginning left. It's like a revolving door. But I just the point was I just want people to understand there is no such thing as what is supposed to be in your life. Yes, you can look on Instagram and you could see what people are portraying as a perfect situation for being 25 or being 30 or being 40 or whatever, um, or being a parent or being this. It's all bullshit. Listen, nobody posts their things that are bad about their life. So if you're looking at somebody and you're like basing your life on what their life is, that is so wrong. Stop doing it. There is no such thing as what is supposed to be. Every single person can have a life that is perfect for them and a life that makes them happy that looks nothing like another person on Instagram. There are some people who their version of happiness is a mansion on the hills of California, overlooking the ocean, driving Maseratis and whatever. That is one person's definition of what life is supposed to be and how perfect life is. Um, on the other hand, there's people like me who would choose an island away from everyone in a little tiny home with little tiny homes for my family and best friends. Um, that would be perfect for me. There's a lot of people that look at that and go, "Oh my god, that is so stupid. I could never live like that." Well, guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Um, you just have to pick what makes you happy and then decide, "I deserve that happiness," and then make it happen. Um, and he says, "I just want peace of mind," right? Like, literally. Um, I think it's funny because people don't understand that, Eddie. People don't understand that. Um, like, I am sitting here, my car is a 2007 Dodge Nitro, okay? It has 230,000 miles it hit this week. Um, People don't understand that. I am 100% happy with that car. Why would I pick something else? Why would I buy something else? Why would I get a car payment? Like, I just want peace of mind. I just wanna be happy with whatever I wanna do. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody, but that's just what I wanna do. If you would like to go and get a $900 car payment, then fucking kudos. I don't know what to tell you. You don't need anybody's approval for anything. Like, and I don't know why people are seeking approval or trying to, like, tell other people how to live their life. There's no such thing as what life is supposed to be. Um, and to sit here and judge somebody for their life or to tell them what they should and shouldn't be doing or whatever, that's so I if I were to go to somebody who just bought a brand new car and they were like, "Oh my god, look at my new car. I'm so excited. I worked really hard for this. I've always wanted to get a new car." And then I walked up to him and go, "You should really be driving a 2007. What are you doing?" How rude is that? That's not what that person wants to do. Um, so that's another pet peeve I have about the internet and just people in general. Why are we trying to like tell other people how to live their lives? Why are we trying to like undermine what it is that makes people happy? You know, if somebody posts a video, I was just explaining this to one of my clients the other day. Um, if somebody posts a video and they're like, "Hey, I'm LARPing at the medieval festival," and they're all dressed up and they're jousting or whatever. Good for you. Oh my God. That makes me so happy that you found something that makes you happy in this messed up world where everything is designed to tear us down. You found a tiny little sliver of happiness. And you know what? Instead of me telling you that you're weird or that that's a waste of money or that you could be spending your weekends doing something else, I am going to clap for you. And I'm going to tell you, congratulations on finding that sliver of happiness because there are so many people that will live their entire life without ever finding that happiness. Why would I tear that away from you? Am I going to join you on your LARPing adventures? No. But if I see a sword at a garage sale, I will buy it for you and I will support you and I will cheer for you and I will share your things on Facebook if you share them. I will do that. I'm not going to go with you though. But I just wish that people could just focus on their own happiness. Like instead of tearing other people down and being like, "Oh my god, you have dumb hobbies. You should do this, you should do that. You should don't. Nobody should do anything. You know what people should do is what makes them happy. That's it. That's it. Because this world is so messed up and it is so full of hatred and it is so just hell bent on kicking us while we're down, right? So, why are you going to take away the teeny tiny little sliver of happiness that people have? What a miserable existence. Like, I can't even imagine just making it a goal to destroy people's lives. Why? Because your life was destroyed? That's one that I don't understand. Um, that doesn't mean that you push that on to other people. You know, that means that you have things that you need to work on to find your own happiness. I could promise you, happiness is not found in destroying other people's happiness or destroying other people's self-worth or, you know, I promise you that's not the way to find happiness. Um, Eddie says, I find happiness while I'm at Madison. I need to get up there more. Yes, I agree. You should definitely come up more. Um, and it took me a long time, you know, like my 19-year-old was like, "Oh, I don't know, mom. I just don't know what I want to do with my life. And I don't know what makes me happy." I'm like, bro, you don't even have a favorite burner on the stove yet. Calm down. It's not, you don't need to figure things out right away. You know, I've been going to the seminary for 5 years now. So I was 35 when I figured out that, like, hey, this weird hobby makes me happy. Like, these people make me happy, you know, and finding random things at thrift stores and garage sales and bringing it to decorate a haunted building makes me so happy. Um, but it took me a long time to realize that. And, you know, it's whatever. I know it's weird. Um, I'm not saying that it's not weird. I'm just saying it took me a really long time to figure out that that one weird thing is what made me happy. So go out and try some weird stuff. You might be surprised. Like, I don't know, go try like glass blowing or like rock climbing or I don't know. There's a lot of weird things you can do out there. Just look on Groupon. They always have coupons for weird things that you can do. Then you can do it cheaply too. Um, but just don't knock anybody for what they're doing that's weird. God, just let people be happy. I'm so tired of it. It's it's like the world is full of like miserable people that assume like either that everybody else should be miserable too, or like they get this like high off of making themselves feel better by making other people feel like shit. That's not it. That's not it. That's not the life. Um, Find a new hobby. Look on Groupon. It's not good for you to do that. I know so many miserable people that, like, make it their life goal to put other people down or to talk shit about other people or, you're gonna be miserable forever, man. You're gonna be miserable forever. You gotta get over that. You gotta stop doing that. Um, and what's gonna happen is that the universe is gonna keep giving you shit. It's called karma, or it's called karm, or lots of other things in different cultures, but it's a real thing. And if you spend your life trying to destroy other people's lives, then you're gonna get handed some shit. And you're gonna sit there and wallow in self-pity because, oh, why me? Well, maybe because you're an asshole, you know? Just go out there and be a good person and be happy for people and spread gratitude and spread happiness and spread positivity. Um, there's people, I try to explain this. It's We have so much power in the words that we say, so much power. And people always talk about, you know, what if, you don't know what somebody's going through. And what if that thing that you say to them is their last straw? That's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And then they go home and do something terrible to themselves. Um, but it works the other way too. What if somebody is at that super low point and you know, they post something about going LARPing and everybody's being super mean, and you just send them a message like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Can you tell me more about your character?" That's it. Oh my god, do you know how much they would, like, light up? Like, everything would change. Everything can change from the words that we say, good or bad. Um, you know, I always try to tell people to try to text at least 2 people a day. If that's not feasible, then text 2 people a week, 1 person a week, something. But imagine you have someone who's in a bout of depression. They're in a funk, as I call it, and they're in the middle of a stretch where they can't get off the couch. They can't take a shower, they can't do the dishes, they can't cook food, whatever. And you send them a message randomly on a Tuesday afternoon, and you just say, "Hey, I just want to let you know I was going through your Facebook page. You are an awesome mom, or you are a great person, or I'm so proud of you for everything you've done at your job, or something." And then that is enough to give them a dopamine boost, and they get up and go take a shower. And then once they take a shower, they feel so much better. So they go and tackle the dishes. And now that all the dishes are clean, they actually are motivated to make dinner because now they have dishes to do them in. And so they make dinner. And it's like a snowball effect, and it's could be good or bad. Um, so just be nice. Like, literally, and if you don't wanna be nice, if that's not your thing, it's not your thing to message people and tell them, like, "I'm proud of you," or to tell a stranger, like, "Hey, you're" whatever. I don't know. If you don't wanna tell a stranger something, then at least just don't be mean, right? Where did the golden rule go? Like, we don't do that anymore? If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all? Like, I don't know why we stopped doing that, but I'm pretty sure it was social media that stopped that. Um, I used to simplify it for my kids, and I would say nice things or say nothing. That's it. You don't have to be super nice to people all the time. Just don't be mean. Just don't say things that make them feel less than. Um, it's It's literally that simple. On our other podcast, we sign the show off every week by saying, "Don't be an asshole." And people kind of chuckle about it at first, but it's just a reminder. Like, literally, think about most of the problems in the world. Most of the problems in the world would be solved if people would just stop being assholes. Stop being mean to each other, stop being ugly to each other, stop with the ego. Um, that would solve most world problems. So just be nice. Just be nice. That's it. If you can't be nice, then be quiet. But I am going to sign off, and I hope that you guys had a good time tonight. I missed you guys, and I'm sorry that things have been so crazy, and I'm gonna work on getting better about being on. I was sick for a long time though, but I also talked to Woolever, the station manager, and he said that I can record a show to play on times when I'm not here. So I can just work on that like whenever I have a chance, and then it'll be available. Because I do hate not doing the show every week and it bothers me. So I will work on that. As always, if you guys have anything that you want to talk about, if you don't want to talk about it in the comments, you don't want to jump on the show, if you want it to be anonymous, then just message the page. I make notes. Um, yes, it's a ghost notebook. I make notes every week, and a lot of times I talk about things that other listeners have brought up. So you guys don't know that. So I do a very good job of keeping it anonymous. If there's something that you want to talk about, but don't want anybody to know that you want to talk about it, then just message the page and or my personal Facebook, and I will work on getting it on the show. But I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for joining me. And I will talk to you soon. I am always available in my messenger if you need anything in the meantime. But I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.